the Solomon Tention podcast. I have with me Miss Debbie Peterson. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Solomon. How are you?
Good, good. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of the Solomon Tention podcast, Unfiltered. And so, I want to start with some questions that we kind of ask all of our guests, and I know we look forward to getting to know you. So, tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I am a businesswoman and I am the former mayor of a small town in California called
Mm,
Grover Beach. I
okay.
was the first directly elected female mayor of the town. And when I was elected, I found all kinds of corruption. And so I worked together with a really broad group of individuals to help take that down. And
Yeah.
I've written a book about that. And that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does purpose mean to you?
Um, Honestly, it is feeling that I'm doing what God's called me to do, knowing that I'm using the gifts that he gave me and that really there's no alternative. At least there's no peaceful alternative
Yeah.
except to do what he's called me to do.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you find your purpose?
A lot of times I haven't I think a lot of times we think that we have to wait for God's calling, and
Yeah,
the reality is, when we're born, we are God's calling.
yeah,
He's made us who we are, and so I've learned as I've gotten older that I don't have to go out and look for His calling. Usually, He brings it to me,
yeah.
and so I love. There was a book many years ago, maybe even 50 years ago or so, that talked about bloom where you're planted,
Mm,
and
mhm.
and so for me, it's about what I feel called to do with my gifts and abilities that are unique to me,
Yeah,
what I feel called to do with those in the situation I'm in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. You mentioned that you've business woman. You've been a mayor. Now you're an author. Like when you look back on your life, did you ever feel like this is what you would be doing? Did you ever, or was this all just kind of happening? You used to try to figure out how you got there, how you got here.
I always knew I wanted to write from
Yeah,
the time I was probably in junior high or high school. I knew that I really wanted to write, that I loved to write.
yeah,
When I got into college, I started into a degree in communication, started in
yeah,
journalism, and I was scared. I didn't think I could produce good quality material every single day. And it wasn't really, it was a rational fear, but it wasn't a fear that made a lot of sense because I'd won awards doing that. When I was in high school, I edited
yeah,
my high school paper and I won statewide awards
yeah,
writing immediately without warning. So I think that's something I'd love to talk with, to bring to the attention of some of your younger audience members, and that is that um, sometimes there'll be something that you just feel you're not quite ready to do,
yeah,
and I think there's 2 ways to look at that. One is jump in and try, because you'll probably find that you can.
yeah.
The other thing is that you may come back to it.
Mm.
And because it's something that was always on my heart, once I reached the stage that my son was out of college and I didn't have to support him as much,
Yeah,
then I would be able to do what I'd always wanted to do, which was to write.
yeah,
So that is something I planned.
yeah, yeah. And so you talk about the fact that you knew as a young kid, you knew you had something in that passion for writing, and I think that goes back to what you said earlier about our purpose. It doesn't have to be something we have to find; it's already within us, and and
Mhm.
and we come here with that already downloaded in
Yeah.
us, right? And so I say that before we hear a little bit more about your book. What would you say to that potential viewer who is trying to get back to their inner child? Because the whole reason for this platform is that I understand that we come preloaded with purpose, but I understand that life
Mhm.
happens and it separates us from who we are. And so this
Yeah.
podcast is all about filling in the gap, right? So what would you say to that person who says, "Man, I'm trying to figure it out. I got a clue about what it is. I'm feeling like I should be doing this, but then I'm still in this tug of war, right?" So what would you say to that person that's still in that tug of war between who they believe they're called to be versus who they are right now?
I got caught out on that one, not long ago. I was speaking with a writer guru
Yeah,
who mentors writers,
yeah,
and I said, "I have all these things I need to do, and how do I prioritize?" And he said, and I think this is the answer: do what you like doing.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy,
Yeah.
because that is going to be the thing that you're going to do best,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that God gave you.
Yeah.
So it, don't make it so difficult.
Yeah.
Just follow your dream. Do what you like to do. Do what people tell you you're good at doing. If your family tells you you're always the funniest one in the family, then be the funniest one.
Yeah.
Yet if you enjoy that, if
Yeah.
there's a positive, constructive purpose for that.
Yeah. Have there been instances in your life where your gifts have opened up doors for you, have made room for you, so to speak?
Yes, and that's another thing I would say. Don't compete with other people. Don't
Yeah.
compare yourself with other people. You it in on several things. If you're competing with yourself, you're always going to do your best,
Yeah.
and that's all that God calls us to do. He doesn't. We can't be who we're not. We can't be better than we are. We are who we are, and we get better as we practice and get
Yeah.
older and get wiser.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say, when I talk with people about being involved in local government, I say, not everybody can be the speaker.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be the person who goes out and knocks on all the doors. Not everybody can be the person who writes the great article. But you can be the person who shows up.
Yeah.
You can be the person who serves other people.
Yeah.
You can be the person who does what you do. And that's really all we're called, is to be who we are, do what you do.
Yeah. Man, that was some really good insight. So talk to us a little bit about your book and how can we connect with you?
The book is The Happiest Corruption: Sleaze, Lies, and Suicide in a California Beach Town. And I focused on the salacious things because that's what gets people's attention. And what I want to do is get your attention.
Yeah.
Once I've got your attention because you've read it and you go, oh my gosh, I should do something about that. I should use those gifts I have and be we the people in my community. Then I have some other things that can help folks. So I have a course called Double Dias:
Mm.
Adventures in Local Government. It tells people how to both be on a city council, but also how to work with a city council if you're a member of the public.
Yeah.
And all of these, and I have another book, City Council 101, and soon I'll be coming out with We the People 101. I'm
Yeah.
doing an Integrity 101 series. So they're all on Amazon, but the easiest way to connect to anything I'm doing and get good information, just go to my website.
Yeah.
And it's Debbie, Debbie, Peterson, Peterson.com.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for all of your inspiration. Viewers, as we know with all of our guests, if you were inspired by Debbie, her information will be included right in the link, right in the description of this video. And we want you to connect with her for our courses and our books. And we thank you so much for coming on this platform, for giving us some tidbits about purpose. And we are grateful and we look forward to all the continued success that you're going to have. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for spreading joy through what you do. Whenever I listen to your podcast, I'm better than I was beforehand.
Wow,
Thank
man,
you.
that means a lot. Thank you so much.